Hello and welcome back to Resilience Across Borders podcast. I'm your host, Rachid Zahidi, and also the author of the EMO Gym Journal. That is an abbreviation for emotional gym, but most importantly, a guide and workbook to get clear and stay focused on priorities and institute better habits. In today's episode, we will talk about why New Year's resolutions don't work and what to do instead. In other words, how to build real change that lasts beyond January. So every January, millions of people declare bold intentions. This is the year I finally get in shape. This is the year I make more money. This is the year I change my life. And by February, unfortunately, most of those intentions quietly disappear. This is not because people are lazy or weak. It is because the resolution model is psychologically flawed. It relies on bursts of motivation instead of systems, instead of identity, and instead of setting up the right environment. If you are building a more resilient, emotionally intelligent life, this distinction matters enormously. Here is why resolutions fail and what actually works. Number one, resolutions focus on outcomes, only outcomes, and not identity. Most resolutions are framed as external goals: lose 20 pounds, make more money, be more confident. These are results, and results are great, but they're not who you are becoming, and you don't just become that overnight. So when motivations drops, which it always does, there is no deeper anchor holding the behavior in place. So what works instead is identity-based change, a shift from what do I want to who am I becoming. Instead of I will meditate every day, you can use a statement like I am becoming someone who regulates their nervous system and mind. When identity changes, behavior follows naturally. To put it in more practical use, write one sentence starting with the kind of person I am becoming this year is someone who blank, fill in the blanks. Example, the kind of person I am becoming this year is someone who processes emotions instead of avoiding them. And you post this where you see it daily. So it sinks in, so it gets into the unconscious and the subconscious. Number two, resolutions depend on motivation, not structure. Motivation is biologically unstable. It rises when things feel exciting and drops when things feel hard. Resolutions collapse when life becomes stressful, which is exactly when we need our habits the most. Try this instead. Design friction and flow. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your training, the level of your environment, and the level of your systems. So practical use again is if your goal is journaling, leave your journal, preferably EMO Gym Journal, on your pillow. But seriously, whatever journal you use, or even a blank notebook. And if you need prompts, just listen to this podcast and go to the blog at resilience.com. You'll find plenty of resources there to help you find the guided way to do this and do it in an efficient and effective way. So if your goal is movement, for instance, keep your walking or running shoes by the door. Number three, resolutions ignore the nervous system. Most resolutions assume you will act rationally under stress, but the nervous system defaults to comfort, defaults to safety, and defaults to habit when overwhelmed. That is why people emotionally eat, procrastinate, or return to unhealthy relationships, even when they quote unquote know better. So again, what works instead is regulate before you change. You cannot create lasting change from a dysregulated state. So before working on any goal, spend, say, 2 minutes slow breathing, 1 minute noticing tension in the body, and 1 minute grounding attention in the present and being intentional. This shifts the brain from survival mode to choice mode, where new behaviors become possible. Number four, resolutions are too big and abstract. So, quote, be healthier or get disciplined provides no clear action. The brain does not know what to do with vague instructions, so it does nothing. And we stay stuck. What works instead? Micro commitments. Small wins rewire the brain, and it's also easier to do small wins and to make progress and use the compound effect. And consistency beats intensity. So, again, to put it in practice, instead of saying, okay, I will work out, choose instead, I will walk for 5 minutes after breakfast, or I will do 2 or 3 push-ups. Instead of say, I will be mindful, choose, I will take 3 conscious breaths before checking my phone. These sound small, but they build identity and momentum. Number 5, resolutions don't account for emotional patterns. Most people don't fail because they forget their goals. They fail because old emotional loops take over. Shame, fear, self-doubt, or simply comfort seeking. Without emotional awareness, we will sabotage ourselves unconsciously. So instead, we can track emotions, not just habits. You can, at the end of each day, if you really want to do this, ask yourself, what emotion showed up mostly today? Or what did it make me want to do? Or did I act from it or observe it? This is how you build emotional resilience, the core of sustainable change. Number 6, the mindset of all or nothing. You miss a day and people often think, I failed, I might as well quit. That mindset kills progress. What works instead is continuity over perfection. The brain changes through returning, not being perfect. So you can create a rule and remind yourself, no matter what happens, I restart tomorrow. This single rule preserves identity and long-term success. When you fall off the horse, as you will, as we all do, then you remind yourself you will get back on whatever the next opportunity you get, the next whatever hour or the next day, whatever it is. The real truth about change is resolutions fail because they are about forcing a new future onto an old nervous system, an old identity. What actually works is becoming a new person through identity work, through emotional regulation, and through instilling systems, and through small consistent actions, and through self-awareness. This is exactly what resilience is. Not trying harder, but becoming more stable, more aware, and aligned. And when you do that, change stops feeling like willpower and starts feeling natural. So as always, thank you for tuning into the Resilience Across Borders podcast. If you're enjoying this podcast and finding it helpful to you, please pick up a copy of the companion journal by yours truly called EMO Gym on Amazon. You can follow the blog posts and episodes as they get added. The URL for that is at resilience.com. And remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and stay resilient.